All right, guys, what is going on? Had to play with this Gibbet a couple times here before I can get it really working. I hope you're all well. I hope everything is good for you guys on this side of the world. This one I'm gonna make and make it a very transparent video. The art of losing, right? The art of failing. I'm gonna talk about this really quick. I have made so many mistakes in my life. Laziness when studying, laziness when planning, laziness when it comes to diligence, narcotic abuse, played with things that I shouldn't have played with, did things that I shouldn't have done. That's been my story. And I never want to pretend and lie to people and tell people that I lived a perfect life, because that is such a lie. I am such a flawed person. I make mistakes all the time. And then I also do things really well, right? And I work really hard sometimes, right? A lot of times now. I'm even more locked in than I've ever been. But nonetheless, I don't want to tell people a facade of a story of some narrative and some BS that's not true. Because if you believe in a narrative that's not real, if you want to think of me as some type of like guy who's like did everything perfectly and I'm like, my life is amazing. No, that's like the furthest thing from the truth. Nonetheless, the reason why I'm making this video is because I want to talk about one like very important topic that a lot of people don't want to talk about. In the West, there's a whole like narrative and push to pretend about life, right? Pretend like you're living an amazing life. Pretend like you're living a dream life. Pretend like you're living a lavish life, right? Like that's the whole thing with the West. Everyone has nice cars. Everyone wears nice clothes. Everyone has a bunch of social media followers. Everyone has the Gucci, the Louis, the Beats headphones. Everyone wants to pretend like they got everything going on. Everyone wants to pretend like they got all the answers. No one wants to talk about the fact that they're struggling in school or in education, or they're having a hard time with business. They're having a hard time with life. No one wants to talk about that, because if they talk about their failures for 1 second, you also realize that they're inadequate. But I'm willing to talk about it all the time, because guess what? That's part of what being human is. Failing, right? Failing makes people do things that goes outside of their character. And that's the reason why I'm making this video. Because a lot of people do things outside of their character because they fail. And I want to bring that into light a little bit. People will steal, people will cheat, people will finesse, people will lie to each other, people will harm each other because they fail. They're failing, right? People will use ChatGPT to do quizzes and tests, and I've been there myself, right? People will lie to each other about their financial statuses, where they come from, where they're going, all of these things because they fail, or they're not coming from the best homes, or they don't come from the best lives. And you see, when we live in this unauthentic generation and unauthentic world where we look at social media and we think about social media being this amazing thing, and then we look back to our lives and we're like, damn, my life doesn't really add up to that. You'll start to compare and then create these false narratives of hatred for people on social media, right? Because they're living the life that you're not living and I'm not living. But then also become jaded and then pursue the things that they have, even though they're not even happy with the things that they have, but you're pursuing what they have. So it's like this paradox of just confusion. And the best way that you can finally get free from this is understand this. Your story and your life is your own. There's nobody else that's ever going to be the person that you are. There's nobody that's ever going to be the mistakes that have bundled and made you who you are today. You are you, and you are fundamentally unique. Every individual handprint is unique. So you want to think about that first. Second, copying people just because they've got wealth is the stupidest thing in the world. How many rich people out there are so unoriginal? They've been given wealth, they've been given handouts, they've been given everything in life, and they've been given the easy route. That doesn't mean that you should pursue it because they have it. You should question every trend, every narrative, to see if it holds weight and if it makes sense. A lot of times it won't. But that's the thing, most people don't do it. And a lot of people, when they start failing in life, right? Failing college, failing high school, failing university, getting broken up, they start to plummet. Drugs, alcohol, partying, hooking up with random people, stealing from people, lying to people, right? Running away from God or the concepts of holy ethics because they don't want to own up. But dude, do you know how many people become successful later in life? Just because you didn't pop off in your 20s or when you were 10 doesn't mean that you're going to be a failure your whole life. I always tell people, dude, Colonel Sanders was 65 when he became one of the biggest names in the world. J.K. Rowling was a single mother on welfare when she finally made her way and became one of the best authors in human history. Right? There's so many people that have become adamant successes, and they did it at a later time. So my advice for you, anyone that's watching this video, is this. Bro, wake up, dude. Like, your life is not over. You can fail at 18, do well at 25, fail at 36, and make it at 45. You can struggle in 7 different careers and then finally find the one that's meant for you. But if you steal from your employee and you rob your neighbor and you hurt your cousin and you do all this crazy stuff, what do you think is going to happen from that? Calamity, bro, heartbreak, and you're going to set yourself up for jail time and prison, and you'll never be able to come back from things like that. So if one venture fails, don't give up on life. Just reassess where you're at and redevelop. The art of losing, right? The reason why I say it's an art is because you're drawing this portrait, right? And okay, you go to school, you want to be a paramedic, and then it doesn't work out. Cool. You're still drawing though. So then draw something else. A lot of people just stop drawing. They give up. But it's like, dude, you could still keep creating. What if you become an electrician? What if you become a nurse? What if you become a bike repair guy and create the latest bike? What if you become a marathon runner? What if you become like a volleyball player instead of being a basketball player? You know what I'm saying? And then that takes you to the next level. But if you think that failure is it and you just give up, then of course that's what's going to happen because you gave up. So this video is motivation for people to pursue the thing that they've been meant to pursue. Go out there and be the thing that you need to be, bro. Or homegirl. Do the thing that you need to do to be the best version of you. Right? Go chase that lofty dream. Dude, I've uploaded 2,000 videos on YouTube because I have faith in the Lord. And not just that, I have believed that all of my life experiences will be a blessing to help someone else out there. And I love posting videos. That doesn't mean that just because I've only gotten up to here that I'm a failure. Nah, man, it just showcases the tenacity and the hunger and the belief that I have of this platform, and I'm not going to give up. So for any of you out there who are failing and are just giving up and like you're living in this cynical lifestyle where you're not training, you're not visioning, you're not dreaming, you're not working, you're not building a brand, you're not building a business, you're just kind of lost. How you fix that is you go back to the grindstone and you build something from nothing. Figure out what you want to build, figure out what you want to do, and figure out what type of works it takes and do it. And don't be afraid of judgment because a lot of people are going to judge you. Don't be afraid of people mocking you because people are going to mock you. Go out there and build the thing that the Lord God wants you to build and that you believe is going to make a difference in this world. You're going to have animosity everywhere you go. But at the end of the day, if you build the thing that you love, you can leave this life knowing that you tried your best building the thing that you know that was going to make a big difference in this world. Be blessed.